The most notorious thing is I'm Mike's big brother, I guess. Right, so I'm based in Tokyo, Japan. I live here with my wife and son, who's 18 years old. You'd call me a serial entrepreneur, right? I've been running businesses for most of my life. And so I founded a company in Japan 15 years ago, which I'm the CEO. We're a under 50 person IT company, and we have offices now in Tokyo, London and Sydney. Well, pretty crap. And I mean, I think basically in October 2020, I went to my doctor and I cracked 130 kilos. I think I was at 132 kilos. I'm almost 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3". So I carried it reasonably well, but I did have the classic dad bod belly. Doctor said to me, "You're an old fart, you're 58, you're fat, and COVID is lethal. You want to die." I think the most challenging was, and it was the most obvious I guess for us, is the difference between Mike and I. Mike's a fitness nut and I'm a geek, right? Just all of the things related to exercise, just being motivated, trying to actually just do exercise. I'd suffered asthma as a kid, so every time I did sport and stuff like that was always hard work, so it was just not enjoyable. So that was the most challenging, is actually really working on doing exercise beyond just gentle exercise, proper, bands type stuff, weights type stuff, so doing that. The one which was the easiest, and it was quite a surprise with me, was the food, and moving to a low carb, moderate protein and fat type scenario. And so I was able to adapt to that very easy. I love meat, I love eggs, I love bacon and eggs, so the whole concept. I listened to a few of the podcasts, well I listened to all of the podcasts, and so the intelligent person Lynn added all the backstory in there. I'm doing this just to stir up Mike, but that all actually made sense. Pulling sugar out of my diet was actually easier than I thought after being based in Japan for so long. They don't eat a lot of sugar, so that was good, and managing it, and it really had a big impact on my weight. The thing which surprised me the most was sleep. I was a classic 4-hour a night, work all hours across all sorts of time zones, maybe take a bit of a nap in the afternoon. But I didn't realize until I got an Apple Watch, started to monitor the deep sleep, how I wasn't getting any at all. And so I really struggled with that, and so Mike gave me a lot of helps and hacks of not using the phone, getting rid of nightlight, whatever else, not drinking before bed, not drinking at all is possibly a good idea, and finally I actually started to get some deep sleep, and wow, what a difference that made. Yeah, so on the numbers thing, as I said, I started off at about 132 kilos. Before I started the program, I'd done some walking, so I was down at about 115. So, and I just couldn't move from there. When I got on the program, I went down to 106 kilos over the 12 weeks. And then 3 months later, I'm now at 99.5 kilos. So I've managed to continue that, which is great, right? My target is 95. That's sort of like a good BMI range type stuff, and that's what the doctor said I should be targeting, so that's good. From a size, I was really frustrated. I was always 4XL. Shopping in Japan was really difficult, so I'm now down to an XL, which is great. Waist down from 116 to 103. It's now at 100. So that's basically sort of made my life a lot easier. But then the things that I noticed had a big impact while I was going to the doctor on a regular visit is because I have Crohn's, which is a digestive inflammatory disease, and something I've struggled with for the last 20 plus years. After going through the program, I've got the best results on my CRP, the inflammatory measure that I've ever had. Doctor's extremely happy with that. Just as a change to diet seems to have really fixed that, and so reduced natural inflammation. The other thing that happened over that period of time was I was diagnosed with acute apnea as well, sleep apnea, right? Which I had no expectation that doing anything with the Tough Love program or anything would have an impact, and it did. It immediately had an impact. By reducing the weight, my sleep got better. I was focused on sleep. I was measuring the SpO2, and then I was on the CPAP machine, sent it back, and basically just moved on. I'm now sleeping well. The final part was the clarity. Obviously, being CEO, I had a lot of things happening all the time, and just remembering things, planning things, and just having a structure, having a focus and energy made a huge difference. Now that I've been through it, and I really thought it would be tougher than it turned out to be, and I really didn't expect the results I got. They're so ahead of what I expected. But I wish I'd done it 10 years earlier. Even started thinking about it in my 40s, right? Because I basically spent the last sort of 20 years doing a bunch of stuff which has sort of broken my body, and now I'm trying to fix it, right? So I'd like to have done that a little bit earlier. And certainly I think my life would have been a lot better in regards to just my focus, family, energy would have been totally different. I really put it down to getting older, and then subsequently the pandemic sort of changing everything. So I blame the pandemic a bit in regards to just things slowing down. And I realize now that's total crap, actually. It was nothing to do with that. It was just basically my bad habits were catching up with me.